When you depositing money into the bank, technically it's not your money anymore. When you taking your money, hard-earned money, and when you're making deposit into the bank, uh, perhaps bank account is yours, but the bank will take your money, and it's still technically your money, but it becomes a liability of the bank. That's very important. Perhaps if not right now, if you would begin reading some of those contracts with particular banks, even if the sums of money in the beginning might be very small, what is small for one person might be a large amount for another person, right? It could be 500 or 1,000, right? Just so you're aware, right? Perhaps that would not necessarily be a big problem, but just so you're aware, once those sums of money would become larger, and especially when you're running a business and you have people that relies on you to make payments for payroll, for the time that you have spent working on your projects, as well as deliver the services, and you as a business responsible business, you want to meet those payments on time as agreed on. You definitely need to take into consideration that bank, the way how they structure this, that from the moment that you made the payment into the bank, so bank holds that money, it's bank's liability to pay it to you, but it's not your money anymore. That means that the bank owes you amount of money you deposit, and it's obligated to return into you upon your request. Uh, that's how we structure that. So once you ask for money, they obligated to return that money, depending on the sums, right? Those sums can be small sums, and they not necessarily would ask those questions. For example, when you go to the shop, grocery shop, and you make a wireless transaction, where you don't need, you can just take your card and put on a point of transaction, and it will make a payment based on the size of the money that you're looking to perhaps pay for groceries. It used to be $30, pounds, euros, right? But recently they might increase that to up to 50 or so. But either way, just so you're aware, that if you would request money or liability to pay your money that you deposit into the bank, bank might require additional information based on the sum of money that might be they might be required for 14 days notice or so before making out that payment, just so you're aware of based on the sum. Would that be 5,000, 10,000, and those sums depending on the banks, depending on where you are located, just so you're aware. They could be a large sums, it could be small sums, right? However, then you depositing money in the bank, you are essentially giving a bank permission to use your money for various purposes, such as lending it out to other customers or investing it. Since you're giving permission to bank to take your money, to reinvest that money, give it to other people, so not necessarily that bank would be able to give it back to you straight away, depending on the sum of money, right? So since bank is operating as a bank and takes your money and do whatever he feels right to do with now bank's money, not your money. If you need to meet the payroll and you need another 10,000 or 100,000, right? You would ask bank, "Oh, can you give me my money back?" Bank might say, "Why you need your money, right?" And now you need to have all this conversation. Bank might say, "Oh, I'll give you money within the matter of perhaps 7 days or so." Your own money back, right? In return for use of your money, the bank may pay you interest on your deposit, which is a small percentage of deposit money. Uh, Before taking this statement as a uh, valuable information. What is that interest on that money? How fast money is losing its value, and what's interest like, and how long it will take to double your money with that interest rate. Would take over 100 years to double that money. So if you have, I don't want to get anyone stumble upon this math, but that's interest rate. What is it? 2%? 0.02%, that's interest rate, or how much money actually bank is making on that money, 20%, 10%. So that's how much money bank makes on that money. They're taking on some risk perhaps, but either way, interest rate on that, actually interest rate, how much bank is making, how much interest they paying out. Perhaps back in 50 years ago, so the interest rate was 10, 5%, 6% or so. Then it's reasonable interest rate, where now it's 0.02 or so, depending on the bank, depending where you're based and located. But I don't know. While the money in a bank, you can access it through various means, such as withdrawing cash, writing checks, using debit cards, or making electronic transfers. The bank also provides a level of security for your money, including insurance on deposit of up to certain limit. It may, in many countries, this limit is insured by government agency. I believe it's FCC and its requirement. So we just said that bank provides that, just because there is a requirement for bank to do it, and for government to insure your money. Just because, I don't know, I might open a bank. Why not, right? Why why more people haven't started it? It sounds like a great business model based on information so far. There should be more banks out there who can that work. Business model works fine, I guess. Let's take this perspective, right? Just try imagine taking on the money. You can there might be some government regulations of how much money you can lend, but either way, well, so far sounds like a great business model too. Uh, for those of you who would like to learn more, I would highly recommend to purchase my journal. I have structured this journal so to focus on time and how to make most of your time. That would be certain areas that you get to focus on every single day, making most of your time. I have highlighted areas which I believe is very important. Just the way perhaps you haven't noticed so far. Most of the people, the way how they're structuring their days might be different. I have done a lot of research myself to understand these principles. I would structure it around time and making most of 24 hours. I would highlight particular areas to focus on every single day. That would be a dictionary, understanding finance, perhaps motivation, as well as personal goals, things to do, some of the health metrics as well. You can find this journal in the description below, as well as top retailers has it. Banks have been fundamental part of financial systems for centuries, and they are likely to continue to play a significant role in the future. However, the banking industry is constantly evolving and is subject to change and disruptions driven by various factors. Some of those factors are in next videos, I'll go more in detail to address some of the issues and where I believe things are moving. But if I were to briefly summarize some of those areas, that would be technological advancements and perhaps alternatives, and what those alternatives might be. Regulatory changes and compliance with different governments, and what governments and some of the actions governments will be taking to address some of the issues, especially security, financial security, economic and market focus, and where the market's going to be focusing and how transaction of value going to be shifting. Customer preferences and ease of making a payment. It's always been a big problem, I guess. Globalization and moving value between countries. Financial innovation. Financial innovation continues to introduce new products and services. This includes not only digital banking but also innovation in lending, investment, and risk management. Banks that innovate and adapt to these changes may have competitive edge. And I'm interested to see what industry has to offer. I believe there is a lot of talented people out there who can offer great products and services, especially in the financial industries. And some of the industry problems, if you up there struggling currently with your service provider, taking notice what's happening in the industry. There might be some new projects out there who might resolve some of the issues that your business or yourself would have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.